Hey guys, Ashley here for Real Buyer Agency and John L. Scott Bothell, here with a December monthly market update for the residential real estate markets of King and Snohomish counties, Washington. In this video, we will primarily look at the market statistics and contributing data that ran through the month of November, briefly looking at national mortgage rates before moving on to look specifically at local data that was sourced directly from the Northwest MLS public releases. In these videos, we try to take the approach of breaking down a few charts in detail before finally providing a summary at the end. If you're just looking to get a quick lowdown on one specific market aspect or a summary of the current market as a whole, please feel free to skip ahead to the relevant section. Depending on which platform you are watching on, you can find detailed chapters and timestamps provided on the video timelines and in the description below. Okay then, that said, for the final time this year, let's get started.
Okay guys, we'll start off as normal with our first slide being the 30-year fixed mortgage rates. These are weekly averages provided by Freddie Mac. The weekly data recorded runs Thursday to Thursday. So the week ending Thursday, November the 5th, the average was 2.78%. Then for the week ending November the 12th, the average was 2.84%. And then we dropped down for the week ending November 19th to 2.72%. This remained flat through the week ending November 25th. This was 2.72% also. And then we dropped off ever so fractionally again, just the 1 basis point to 2.71% the week ending December 3rd. Okay, moving on to the local data, newly active listings. So for the month of November, King County had 2,305 new active listings, and Snohomish County had 904. In King County, that means a month-to-month reduction of 41.95%, and in Snohomish County, that means a month-to-month reduction of 44%. So just because of the time of year and the seasonality, we would normally expect something akin to these rapid month-to-month reductions. What's interesting here is when we compare versus 2019, November in King County, newly active listings are actually up quite a bit, up 32.78%. And in Snohomish County, that was much more normal, actually down 0.22%. In 2019, in November, we had 906 new active listings in Snohomish, and this year only the 904. As we'll see in a minute, this may spell bad news for anyone looking for property in Snohomish County, as existing inventory is already extremely low. And comparatively, we had a good number of transactions in November in Snohomish County. While in King County, it seems like potential sellers are responding to the attractive opportunities of selling in such a low inventory, low interest rate, and high demand market. In Snohomish County, you can see here we have a much more standard situation in terms of new listings. So we'll see how that affects us in a couple of slides here when we look at the months of inventory. Switching over to total active listings. Total active listings on the market at the end of the month of November. In King County, we were left with 2,867 total active listings, and in Snohomish County, we were down to just 527 total active listings. Month to month, this means a reduction in King County of 24.67% in the total active inventory. And in Snohomish County, we've seen a month-to-month decrease of 37.56%. So similar to new active listings, we would expect total active listings on the market this time of year to decrease, but to see them come down 37.56% in Snohomish County is substantial and somewhat alarming. You can kind of understand how this has happened, even without seeing the months of inventory charts. Whereas in King County, we saw new listings outpacing what they did last November. In Snohomish County, they were actually a couple lower than last year. So yeah, that's how we come into 527 total active listings in Snohomish County at the end of November 2020. And as you can see, versus 2019, in King County in 2019, there was 3,487 total active listings on the market at the end of November. And in Snohomish County, there was 1,436. That represents a reduction in King County of 17.78%. But in Snohomish County, we are 63.3% off the total active listings we had last year. So what exactly does that do to our months of inventory? So here's our months of inventory slide. So as you can see, King County at the end of November had 0.93 months of inventory, and Snohomish County was down at 0.38 months of inventory. To put this in perspective, 6 months of inventory would be a truly balanced market. 4.5 to 6 months of inventory is still usually considered fairly balanced by most real estate professionals. And anything under that kind of 4.5 months of inventory is clearly a seller's market. So you can see down here at 0.38 months of inventory, we're left with a little over 10 days of inventory on the market in Snohomish County. That means that if there was no other listings to come to market during that period, you might anticipate that if absorption rates continue at what they are, Snohomish County might be entirely out of inventory within 10 to 12 days. Clearly, this is a very constrained marketplace. You can see year over year, this is a substantial decrease. In King County, we've just come down from 1.39 months of inventory this time last year to 0.93. Represents approximately a 33.09% decrease to 2 decimal places. In Snohomish County, it's dropped from 1.27 to 0.38. Represents a reduction of approximately 70.08% to 2 decimal places. So yeah, just to reiterate again, we really are here possibly in danger of almost completely running out of listings in Snohomish County. I cannot foresee December providing much relief. Maybe January or February of next year we'll start to see some relief in Snohomish County, hopefully. In the short term, I would just anticipate closing prices continuing to drive higher in Snohomish County. Okay, then how did the further depressed inventory and the even lower mortgage rates of November affect the actual prices? As normal, we'll start here with just the listing prices. The median list price for King County through November was $698,000. And in Snohomish County, the median list price was $570,000. In King County, that represents a month-to-month increase in the median list price of $8,010. Expressed as a percentage, that's an increase of 1.16% to 2 decimal places. Snohomish County, on the other hand, the list price actually came down fractionally. The median list price was $2,500 less than in October. That represents a reduction of 0.44% on the list prices. Year over year, kind of the opposite situation. In King County, year over year, there was a reduction of $1,950 on the median list price. And in Snohomish County, the median list price year over year has increased $10,050. And then finally, the all-important median closing sales prices. So for November, King County's median closing sales price was $685,000, which was exactly the same as the median closing sales price for October. And Snohomish County's median closing sales price was $538,475. So the median closing sales price in Snohomish County came down slightly month to month, down from $549,994 in October. It represents a median closing sales price decrease of $11,519 month to month, or a reduction of 2.09% to 2 decimal places. Year over year, however, both counties are substantially up. In King County, the median closing sales price since the end of November 2019 has increased $73,000, or 11.93%. And Snohomish County's median closing sales price increase since the end of November last year is $66,728. This represents a 14.14% increase. I can say I'm a little surprised to see that Snohomish County's month-to-month median closing sales price decreased. I think that might be a little bit anomalous. I would anticipate, based on the data we have, particularly with the low inventory and the continued low interest rates, that despite it being a holiday period, I would anticipate the median closing sales price for the month of December going back up in Snohomish County. I think in King County, possibly more of the same. We could see fractional increases just due to the reductions of inventory. But the fact that the newly active listings there are coming on market at a slightly better rate means that all avenues are open for closing sales prices for King County for the coming month.
So in summary, November 2020 was yet another of the many months of this year where we saw average mortgage rates drop. And in doing so, we again achieved a new all-time weekly low. For the 30-year fix, we ended November hovering between 2.71 and 2.72%. And for the beginning of December, rates appear to be holding at about the same mark. November saw something of a divergence in the nature of the marketplace of our two respective counties. While in King County, buoyed by the extremely attractive selling environment, many potential sellers took the opportunity to strike while the iron was hot and listed their properties. Here we had 2,305 new listings, up 32.78% from November 2019. It was a substantially different story in Snohomish County. Here, despite the market environment by all measures being set up even better than that of King County for would-be sellers, we saw no increase at all versus 2019 in terms of new listings coming to market. And we actually ended the month with 2 less. This is certainly a little curious, and I'm not precisely certain as to what caused the dramatic disparity of approaches to the market across the 2 counties. It is possible that the more substantially rural areas of Snohomish were beset a little earlier by winter weather, or that generally, on average, the population here felt the necessity to put any plans of listing their properties back to the start of next year while they focused on seasonal preparation. Whatever the cause of the disparity in approach towards listings in the 2 counties, ongoing strong buyer demand and high pending rates meant that both counties again ended the month with less in terms of months of inventory than they started with. While King County has come down a fair bit, the reduction in Snohomish County is much more dramatic. The lack of any new listing surge here means that Snohomish was down just 527 total active listings at the end of November, and that were no more listings to come onto the market, we would anticipate the county being fully out of properties for sale within 10 to 12 days. The present numbers are extremely low, and indeed I think it's actually highly probable that for at least the next couple of months, those numbers will only get worse. This is also why it was very surprising to see the median sales price in Snohomish also go down by over $11,500 in November versus October. Again, I cannot see that specific stat as being much more than an anomaly. These things can certainly happen when we are looking at median data. In the short term, we'd anticipate that closing sales prices in Snohomish will rise. Indeed, with the current extreme low inventory in the face of anticipated strong buyer demand, it would not be at all surprising to see Snohomish set a new median closing sales price record in either December or January. The outlook in King County is a little less extreme, but still provides for continued positivity for sellers. Ongoing strong buyer demand here means that even if we do see an increase in short-term listings activity, properties are still likely to move pretty rapidly, and at prices not too far off from their recently set highs. Generally, there is a greater variety of potential outcomes for the shape of the short-term market in King County versus Snohomish. This past month, we saw median closing sales prices in King County match exactly those of October, and we might fairly anticipate that December will provide for a similar story. Both closing price increases and decreases are viable this month in King County, but we can be fairly confident that whichever way the market trends here, it isn't likely to be all that dramatic. Okay then, that does it for the December 2020 market update. Please hit the like button if you found the video useful and subscribe to the page or the channel. Also, feel free to engage or post any questions you may have in the comment section below. Otherwise, we wish all of you a wonderful holiday season and look forward to producing more videos for you like these in 2021. Until then though, I hope this finds you well. Have a great holiday season. Wherever you may be spending it, stay warm, safe, and happy. And until next year, have a great one.